Oh no, the big bad word, frugal. Honestly, frugal has been used as an insult to people before. Oh, you are so frugal. Yeah, call me frugal. I want to be frugal. You want to know what the actual definition of frugal is? I mean, there's such a stigma behind it. But being frugal is not about being cheap or being, completely without anything. Being frugal is actually being prudent with your money on how you spend it. And when you do spend it, spending it smartly on the things that you value. Now, whether you are here in the frugal living video where we're going to talk about these tips to finally get control of your money. You're like, you know what? That frugal word doesn't seem so bad now that times are starting to get really lean. In good times, yeah, you don't need to be frugal. You only live once. Go ahead and do you. But when people start seeing their bills go up and their income not increasing, frugal starts sounding a lot better. So whether you're here finding frugal living for the first time, or you're like me and I was raised living frugally and in my 20s rebelled, meaning I spent as much as I could in going into debt with no concern for tomorrow, or perhaps you already are frugal and you're just looking for some solid reminders and encouragement. Either way, this video is for you. So I'm going to talk about some top basic tips to help you live below your means. Let me know in the comments down below where you are in the stage of your frugal life. Just beginning, coming back to it, or just needing a few reminders. Anyway, let's get into these awesome tips. Number one was actually one of my frugal goals for 2024, and it was to try to make more of my foods from scratch, making things rather than buying them already prepared. And I feel like I've done a great job of getting there slowly but surely this year. So some of the things that I've learned how to make on my own are cakes rather than buying cake mixes, making my own cake mix, cinnamon rolls, sourdough bread, buttercream frosting, and just last weekend, I hope you will be so proud of me. Anybody who was on one of those videos, I was talking about canning and how I'd never canned anything before. I did it. I did it, everybody. I made my own apple butter. Are you kidding me? I had no idea how easy this was. My daughter, one of her favorite things is apple butter toast. So I made my own apple butter. It was so super simple, and you can darn well believe I've already given some of this as gifts, and you can darn well believe I've already bought some cute fabric to go over. You know how you put the fabric over top with the little raffia bow, etc. And this is going to be some gifts for the holidays for sure. So simple. I cannot share the apple butter recipe with you in good conscience. Why? Because it was given to me from a neighbor. I didn't ask. They didn't give me permission. I don't think they know I have a YouTube channel. They didn't give me permission to share it. And I don't like just giving people's things out for free without their permission. But there are so many recipes for apple butter. It's super, super simple and really easy. Go on Pinterest, go on YouTube. If you're interested in cooking more from scratch, you're going to save money. You're going to know what's in your food, and let me tell you what, it tastes so much better. Pinterest and YouTube are your best friends when it comes to this wonderful foundation frugal tip of helping yourself and making your own foods. Number two is to use every last drop of consumables that you have. And what I mean by this is bottles, jars, tubes, things like lotion bottles, which I don't know what it is with lotion bottles. You know, the ones with the pump on them? You can get to where the pump no longer works, and you look in the bottle thinking it's close to empty, and there's still a quarter of the product left in it, but it doesn't pump out. Not in this house. You are not going anywhere. You're not going in the trash. I'm using every last bit of you. Toothpaste? I'm squeezing that toothpaste tube as thin as I can get it. It's going to be as thin as a piece of paper. You got a spaghetti sauce jar. You're putting spaghetti sauce in a pot. Take and put a little bit of water in that jar. Swish it around to get all of that sauce. You're going to even maybe invest in a long, thin spatula, the ones that are the rubber and they're flexible, especially for like mayonnaise jars. You know, it's hard to get into that thick jar with that small little mouth around it. These are going to help you get every last drop. You got to use every last drop so you really get your money's worth out of your items. Number three is to understand that small expenses do matter. There are many financial influencers out there who like to say, oh, it's not a big deal. I mean, the $5 latte is not a big deal. Sure, the $5 latte is not a big deal if you want it, if that's what you value, if that's one thing that you want to spend your money on. But if you're not really all that into it, it's just a habit that you have, you've got a lot of debt that's really stressing you out, you can't seem to save your money, that $5 does matter. That $5 does add up. Just think about it. Go back and look at last month's statements. Credit card, debit card. See and take all those items. Take everything that's $10 or under. Every purchase. Add that up and then come back and tell me how much that was and that those small purchases did not matter. Number 4 is a foundation frugal tip, and it's reducing food waste. Food is one of the highest items in most people's budget, especially these days. And food waste is still something that occurs on a regular basis. So preparing yourself helps you to not waste as much. Planning your meals, always shopping with a list, freezing your leftovers or any other foods that are getting ready to spoil. The 5th frugal basic is to avoid impulse buys. Impulse buys get a lot of people in trouble. Avoiding them is planning your purchases. You know when you're going to go buy something. You know that you've thought through the purchase. You think, do I need this? Do I really want this? You think, do I have the money for this now? You think, where am I going to put this? And if you don't have a good answer or a yes to most of those, or a knowing, yep, thought this through, yep, know exactly where this is going to go, yep, definitely love it, certainly have the money for it, then it's possibly an impulse buy. It's not a planned purchase. So try to plan your purchases. That's going to help cut down on impulse buys. Go away from going into shopping without a plan of what you're going to do. Number 6 is rarely paying full price. You will find in frugal living, paying for full price is not something that we like to do very much. This is something where we look for the best deal. We wait until mid to late season to purchase clothing, till there's a sale, till there's a holiday. There's always one around the corner where the store's running a great discount. Looking for that discount, looking for a coupon, trying to find it less expensive somewhere else, seeing if there's something else we can purchase instead of that. You're trying to reduce the fact of paying full price for an item when the fact is, you know, these stores that do 30, 40, 50% off all the time. It's really not necessary to pay at full price. Just exercise a little bit of patience and you're probably going to get a discount. In number 5, we talked about impulse buys. Well, in number 7, we're going to make this even more streamlined. It's always shopping with a list. This is shopping with your intention. Your brain has a lot going on, let me just tell you. Remembering what it is that you need is very difficult, especially with everything that's happening in the world. You're going out, you're at a store, you're like, I know I was supposed to get something here. What was it? Does anybody remember? Oh no, we're gonna have to come back because I can't remember what I needed. This is not just with groceries. You've probably heard that any time with groceries, have a list. This is other consumables as well. Even with clothing, you are more likely to buy what you don't need and more likely to be wasteful if you don't have a clear list of something that you're looking for. So let's say you've gone through and done a declutter of your closet and you think, I need a new black pair and navy pair of pants. Need to put that into my list. So the next time that you're at a store, you pull up your list. Oh yeah, I need to go here and here in that store to look for those pants, rather than just wandering around aimlessly hoping that you'll come across the exact thing that you need. Number 8 is don't waste energy. Reducing using overhead lighting, using lamps instead, making sure you have LED bulbs, not leaving things plugged up. You know, the things that are plugged up that aren't actively charging anything or working anything, but they're plugged up, so they're now actively pulling electricity even though they're not actually doing anything. Leaving lights on in a room, or using lights when you obviously have plenty of natural light that you could use in exchange for it. Push the temperature down on your thermostat, up or down. Little things that you can do that will add up, that will help to use less energy, thus hopefully having that energy bill not be as bad. Number 9 is to drive economically. Choosing a vehicle that has great gas mileage, that's not expensive to maintain. There are some luxury brand vehicles that are so expensive to get service on. And yeah, the payment might easily fit into your budget. But are you also thinking about the cost of the premium gas you have to buy? Are you also thinking about all of the things that have to be done to that car where you have to take it to the dealership and how expensive they are? Have you looked into that? Choosing a vehicle that has great long-term reviews so you can keep it around. It's going to keep working and running for a long time. One that is easy to repair, where the parts are easily accessible. These are all things that a lot of people don't think about up front, that in the frugal lifestyle, we look at something not just from a 30,000 foot view, but we really dive down and think about how this purchase is going to look in 10, 20 years if we keep something that long, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Whatever it is, we look at something on its hopefully longevity and determine how it's going to look as far as maintenance cost and how long it's going to last us. Number 10 is key. And it's to first set aside your savings money and then utilize your spending money. If you wait to save after you spent, there won't be much left over to save, because you'll just think, I have it there, I'm going to go ahead and spend it. Or if you've taken it off the table, you've already allocated it, put it into savings accounts, then you're then limited to what's left over. Number 11 is to take your lunch with you. Now, I'm not saying that frugal people don't occasionally go out to get lunch, but for the most part, they bring their own food because they know the extreme cost of eating out lunch every day, which people actually do. You may not see it. I see it all the time. Currently, I don't know, it's hard to find a meal out for lunch that's less than $10 where I am. That's $50 a week or $200 every 4 weeks. It's a lot of money. Number 12 is to reduce eating out altogether. Choose rather to save it for special occasions, and maybe then you go and splurge on an even nicer meal. So many people go out to eat and it's just food. I would rather eat food at home and save the 400% more that it costs to eat out. If you're going to have food, you may as well just eat it at home. Number 13 is to make sure you start off with a reason, with a purpose. You have to have a direction that you're going in, otherwise none of it makes sense. And this could just be thinking about what you want to feel financially. You want to feel at peace. You want to feel less of that stress burden of debt. Maybe you have certain short-term or mid-term or long-term goals. Put those down. You have to have that reason or that why at that point that you're directing towards. Number 14 is to reduce reoccurring bills. Taking the time, and I know it's annoying, to do some research, call the companies, and trying to get lower cell phone, lower internet, lower insurance costs. These are big chunks of money that people spend every single month and oftentimes don't even think about twice. They just are okay with the bill increasing every year. Don't be that way. Take the 5, 10, 15, sometimes half hour and spend doing some research and calling to try to get a reduced rate. Number 15 is just like the main thing, and it's the most difficult thing for people to do is living within your means. Don't spend money you don't have, because what happens is during the good times, people go out and get all of these loans and they get all these things and they don't save as much as they would if there were lean times. And then suddenly lean times come and they're like, what do I do? Look at all these payments. What am I going to do? Or an emergency comes and something happens and one of you can't work. Don't put yourself in that situation. Live within your means now. Don't let that happen to you. And number 16 is immersing yourself in learning about money. Financial literacy. Financial money management is really not that hard. It's not like some crazy algebra, chemistry situation that you're trying to learn. It's just understanding the basics, and those are going to help you because money management is something you have to do your entire life, yet it's not taught to most people in school. Understanding going out and actively finding ideas, money saving tips, understanding savings, understanding retirement plans, understanding investing, immersing yourself in podcasts, YouTube videos, books. The more you know, the more you know. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to let me know down below what stage of frugal living life are you in. I would love to hear from you. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click on the like button, hit the subscribe button. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you next weekend for a new video.